don't even know where to start. This game was so bad and embarrassing. This just made the Fever look horrendous. I mean, what Stephanie White strategically did today lets me know this is going to be Vanderbilt 2.0. That's what this is. If you got
Sabotage is a heavy word in professional sports because it suggests something deeper than simple losing. It implies that the problems are not accidental, that the system itself is actively working against success. And right now, many frustrated fans watching the Indiana Fever believe the team's issues go far beyond normal growing pains or rebuilding struggles. After the Fever became the first team in WNBA history to lose back-to-back home overtime games despite getting 32 points from Caitlin Clark, criticism surrounding the coaching staff and roster construction exploded online. Welcome back to Glowstar Vision. Because according to many fans, the 104-102 overtime loss against the Washington Mystics was not about Clark failing to deliver. In their eyes, she gave Indiana everything possible to win that game. Clark logged over 37 exhausting minutes while continuing to battle through physical strain, and statistically, the performance was massive. She finished with 32 points, knocked down 7 three-pointers, handed out 8 assists, grabbed 4 rebounds, and went perfect from the free throw line. She even hit a deep momentum-shifting shot late in the game that immediately lit up social media. For many supporters, it looked like the return of the aggressive, confident scorer they had been waiting to see. But the number fans keep circling back to is the plus-minus statistic. Clark finished the game at plus 14 in a contest Indiana still lost by 2 points in overtime. That stat immediately became fuel for criticism directed at Stephanie White and the overall lineup structure. Online debates intensified around rotations, bench production, late-game execution, and whether the roster around Clark is properly constructed to maximize her strengths. To critics, the frustration isn't just about losing games. It's about feeling like elite individual performances are not translating into wins because of larger systemic issues within the team.
City! Oh my God! Perfect. Oh my goodness! Guys, look at this. Look at this, guys. Would you look at this?
Caitlin Clark was undeniably the best player in that building on Thursday.
Caitlin Clark looked like the best player on the floor Thursday night. When she was on the court, the Indiana Fever controlled the pace, generated offense, and looked capable of winning the game. But basketball games are decided across all 40 minutes, and overtime exposed the problems fans believe still exist beneath the surface. The moment Clark went to the bench for rest, Indiana's offense appeared to lose rhythm and structure. Possessions became slower, scoring dried up, and momentum shifted quickly. That's why many fans online are arguing the loss had less to do with Clark's performance and more to do with the system surrounding her. The criticism has now shifted heavily towards Stephanie White and how the roster is being managed overall. Kelsey Mitchell also delivered offensively, finishing with 24 points and knocking down 4 three-pointers. But she logged nearly 39 exhausting minutes in the process. Together, Clark and Mitchell combined for 56 points and played more than 76 total minutes, an enormous workload early in the season. For critics, that's the real concern. They argue Indiana is relying too heavily on its stars while getting inconsistent production from the bench, creating a situation where the starting backcourt is forced to carry an unsustainable offensive burden night after night. And that's where the debate around rotations, bench usage, and roster depth has become even louder among the Fever fan base.
What else did they kick their ass in? Hold on, let's look at Kelsey Mitchell, because I want to see Kelsey Mitchell points. I gotta see this, bro. Because if I'm not mistaken, she did it again. She did it again. Did she do it again? Kelsey Mitchell.
Now the conversation shifts to Shadori Walker-Kimbrough, because for many fans, her absence from the rotation has become one of the biggest mysteries surrounding the Indiana Fever early in the season. 3 games in, Walker-Kimbrough has received consecutive DNPs by coach's decision, despite showing flashes of strong bench production during the preseason. In the exhibition matchup against the New York Liberty, she scored efficiently off the bench, brought energy in transition, and provided the kind of secondary shot creation that fans believe this roster desperately needs. That's why frustration around the rotation is growing louder online. Supporters argue that Walker Kimbrough offers something the second unit currently lacks, a veteran guard capable of stabilizing the offense when Caitlin Clark or Kelsey Mitchell need rest. Instead, critics feel the workload on Indiana's primary scorers is becoming dangerously heavy early in the year. Clark is logging huge minutes while managing physical wear, and Mitchell continues carrying major offensive responsibility game after game. The fan argument is straightforward. Even a small rotation adjustment, 8 to 10 consistent bench minutes, could potentially reduce fatigue, improve late-game efficiency, and help stabilize the offense during stretches when the starters sit. Whether that would completely change close-game outcomes is impossible to prove, but the discussion around depth, rotations, and bench trust has clearly become one of the defining storylines surrounding Stephanie White in this Fever team. And after another blown late lead, those conversations are only getting louder.
Beyond mad. I mean, how could we allow, bro? They're allowing Stephanie White to sabotage this team. That's exactly what she's doing, bro. She's sabotaging.
But the coaching staff is not the only target of criticism right now. Many fans believe the Indiana Fever front office also deserves serious scrutiny for how this roster was constructed. Throughout the offseason, one of the loudest conversations surrounding the team centered on frontcourt depth and interior physicality. Supporters repeatedly called for another true post presence or rim-running big who could help stabilize the paint and ease pressure on the starters. Against the Washington Mystics, critics argue those concerns became impossible to ignore. Washington controlled the defensive glass for long stretches, limiting Indiana's second-chance opportunities and making it difficult for the Fever offense to recover after missed shots. Fans immediately pointed to rebounding and interior toughness as major issues that continue to surface in close games. That conversation also intensified around Aaliyah Boston. Boston remains one of the foundational players on the roster, but after a difficult statistical outing, supporters began debating whether lingering health concerns, offensive spacing, or system design are preventing her from consistently getting comfortable touches in the areas where she is most effective. The plus-minus numbers from the game only added fuel to the debate, as online discussions exploded around lineup combinations and how the team performs during different rotations. Meanwhile, rookie Raven Johnson also became part of the conversation after a rough stretch in limited minutes. Fans expected her to bring defensive energy and perimeter pressure, but critics argued the defensive structure appeared unstable during several bench-heavy lineups. Whether the issue is roster balance, lineup deployment, or overall chemistry, one thing is clear. Frustration surrounding Indiana's rotations and frontcourt depth is becoming one of the biggest storylines of the season.
Hey, my goodness. The Indiana Fever was only able to get 18 defensive rebounds and only 11 offensive rebounds. It was the rebounds. They don't have a certified.
Here's the bottom line surrounding the Indiana Fever right now. The team sits at 1-2 after back-to-back overtime losses at home, and frustration across the fan base is rising fast. Caitlin Clark is delivering massive scoring performances, hitting deep momentum-changing shots, and carrying an enormous offensive load, yet the wins still are not coming. Kelsey Mitchell continues logging heavy minutes and producing offensively, but supporters are questioning whether the workload on Indiana's stars is sustainable over a full season. At the same time, fans continue debating the absence of Shadorai Walker Kimbrough from the rotation, especially while the starting guards are carrying so many minutes in close games. Meanwhile, concerns surrounding rebounding, bench production, lineup combinations, and overall roster balance have only intensified after another overtime defeat. That's why criticism towards Stephanie White and the front office has reached another level online. Some fans believe the issues stem primarily from coaching decisions and rotations. Others argue the deeper problem is roster construction and frontcourt depth. Either way, patience is clearly wearing thin. The Fever now head into the next stretch of games with major questions surrounding fatigue management, offensive consistency, and whether the current system can maximize the talent already on the roster. And because expectations around this team became so enormous the moment Clark arrived, every close loss is being analyzed far beyond the final score. This is Glowstar Vision. Subscribe if you want the deeper conversations that go beyond headlines and box scores. And drop your take below. What's the bigger issue in Indiana right now? The coaching decisions, the roster construction, or simply early season chemistry struggles? Because one thing is certain, the pressure surrounding this team is only getting bigger from here.